Guys, welcome back to Stevie G Talks Movies, and today I'm looking at Luke Sparke's feature film Primitive War. Now, I have been absolutely hanging for this because Luke Sparke, the filmmaker here, he has done so much: writer, producer, director, executive producer, production designer, editor. I swear he probably did the catering. But the reason I've been looking forward to this so much is because this film, to me, as an independent filmmaker, is inspiration of what you can do when you get a good team around you and when you work so hard. And I was excited by the original trailer, then the theatrical release trailer. I've been keeping an eye on this film for at least 5 months since I was told about it by an actor friend of mine here in Australia that is aware of Luke Sparke as a director. And so I have been a big promoter of this film, and I'm still going to continue to be a big promoter of this film, even though I do have a couple of key issues with it. But let's look deeper into Primitive War. Well, guys, like most of you, I love a good war film, and yes, I love a dino film, and I am a massive fan of the Jurassic Park films. I saw the original Jurassic Park in cinemas. I was actually working at the cinema when it came out back in 1993.
Wait a minute. How old are you?
21, sir.
Get in a chair.
Like 18-year-old, so yes, I'm getting on now a little bit in age.
You're getting too old for this shit.
So Primitive War, what is it about? Well, the story is pretty basic, though the structure gets a little convoluted, and the story involves Jeremy Piven's character, and he's not in the film a whole lot, and he is General Jericho or something like that, and he wants a troop of his commandos to go into the jungle in the Vietnam War and find out what happened to a team of his other commandos that went missing. And when this new team goes in there, they come up against dinosaurs. Now, that is the simple plot. Now, this is a spoiler-free video, so trust me, there's actually MacGuffins and subplots that I don't want to ruin for you guys, because I want you to go and have the same experience. Now, one of them which explains how the dinosaurs got there totally took me by surprise. So obviously I can't talk about it now, but that took me by surprise. Now, overall, this is a massive action epic film. And before I go any further with my review, I want to just say this to Luke Sparke and any other filmmakers that may end up watching this film review. You make films for a wide range of people, for audiences, and you want people to come into the cinema of all races, creeds, religions, beliefs, and enjoy your film, especially when it's a war film mixed with a dinosaur film. So, Luke and other filmmakers, please remember that Christian people come into your film and they don't want to hear the name of their Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, used as a replacement swear word, especially with the word F right next to it.
Are you about to engage in blasphemy?
So please, Luke, next time you write a screenplay, don't write blasphemy with profanity in your film scripts. It's not needed. Some of the greatest films of all time, including Star Wars, no blasphemy. So please, Luke, remember, don't use blasphemy because it completely takes the audience out of the film if it's a faith-based audience that you've got in there.
May God forgive your blasphemy. For I never will.
And yes, people of faith go and see these films all the time. And then it makes it very hard for me to recommend it to friends who I know are Christians as well, because this film has the worst blasphemy and profanity I've probably ever heard in a movie, and there's no need for it. And unfortunately, it did ruin the experience for me, and I went into this wanting to love this film.
Don't do that again.
So overall, let's look at the good points of the film. Well, the good points of the film is this is a film that has love and dedication poured into it, because obviously Luke Sparke, who's an independent filmmaker who's got off his backside with his friend and family, and they've made this. And now the budget was reportedly between $5 and $7 million. Now I'm hearing it's around $7.5 million with $1 million in marketing. Either way, it doesn't matter if this thing's $10 or $15 million. There are parts in the trailer that may look a little bit B-grade, like there's certain two shots. One of them isn't even in the film, or it's completely regenerated with much better visual effects. One of them is still in the film, and when it's in the trailer, it looks a little B-grade-ish. However, in the actual film, there's so much in the film that they didn't show in the trailer. Now, this is a positive and a negative, because the film is so epic. There is wide shots with brachiosauruses just walking along with soldiers. There's shots that you have no idea are in this film. And if some of those shots were put into the trailers, I believe this film would have been marketed so much better. So I think the marketing team and whoever cut the trailer, and I believe it may have been Luke himself, dropped the ball a little bit. So for example, this shot here didn't need to be in the trailer because it does look a little bit B-grade. Now, if you had put in shots of, and we get, again, trying to not give away spoilers, T-Rex action galore in the last 30 minutes, this film is insane and unbelievable. And if they put some of the T-Rex action we get there in the trailer, or even, I'll give you an example, in Jurassic World Rebirth, great shot in the trailer, and they did teaser promo clips of it, and it's that yellow dinghy scene, and you see the T-Rex, and then you see the T-Rex under the water from an overhead shot. In this film, and it's not a spoiler because it's not about the plot, in this film, we get an amazing scene where a T-Rex goes off a cliff, is in the water behind the soldiers, and then we get an aerial shot looking down, and we see the T-Rex swimming. It is a thing of beauty. Luke and all his team have done so good here. If they put that in the trailer instead of the river shot where we see the unfinished CGI, or we see this shot again, I think you would have a much better chance of getting more bums in seats, and also people not calling the film, especially in the comment section within these trailers on YouTube, that it's B-grade or the CGI looks a bit crap or whatever. I think you guys would have had a much better response with the trailer and more bums in seats. Now, on more positives, the soundtrack is great. There's obviously Creedence in here with Fortunate Son, and there's another track in there from Creedence. The score is good. It's pulsating. But the key thing for me, now I saw this in what's called a standard cinema. It wasn't in VMAX, but the sound was incredible. The sound was boom, 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 and the mix of the sound and the dialogue was perfect, but the sound was coming all around. So even for an older cinema within the complex I saw it in, the sound was good, but the mix and everything that you guys have done in post-production there at Sparke Films is top-notch. Trust me, guys, if you want a loud, cracking action film, guns are blazing with dinosaurs, you're going to get it here. Now, another point as far as really good visual effects. I love the visual effects in this film, apart from maybe a few shots. Now, I'm not a paleontologist. I'm a filmmaker myself. Getting up my first debut feature film. I'm working on that really hard. So that's my bag of tricks, not knowing what every dinosaur is. So there's a scene, and it's in the trailer, where they're in a field and they're fighting these big bird dino. That's all I'm going to call them, pterodactyls maybe. And then these things come down onto the ground, and then you see their faces, and the CGI there is a little bit iffy, but then we get gore. Now, if you want gore, this film's got great gore. And there's one scene in particular that happens. It's like, whoa, it was crazy. Now, unfortunately, I watched this film on my own. I saw on the app for the cinema that other tickets had been sold, and so I was expecting other people in there, but I was alone, and I'm sitting there watching the film thinking this is such a shame, because this film is so kick-ass, so awesome, and so many people have worked so hard on it, and I'm the only person in there watching it, so that's sad. I hope people get out and watch this film. Now, also, as far as positives, there is some positives in the acting. There's also negatives, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But overall, the production design, which Luke did as well, the production design is phenomenal. Now, I know that his father, Ian and Luke, they worked on Beneath Hill 60, they worked on The Pacific, which was Steven Spielberg's TV series, and they have a massive arsenal of old military uniforms, and they have access to military, and the father, Ian, has been in the Army Reserve for like 20 years. So when I look at the film and think, how the hell did they make this for this budget? Obviously, he has massive connections in the Army Reserve. You think that, you know, you're going to get maybe 2 helicopters. You're going to get an aero shot with 2 Vietnam War era helicopters. Oh no, this thing's like Apocalypse Now. You get multiple, like I'm talking 6 helicopters. I think they're called Huey helicopters. Forgive me if I'm wrong there. And it's like with Fortunate Son playing, bow wow, bow wow, and then these helicopters, and I'm like, where did they get the money for this? All these helicopters, and then you see the main army base, which is huge. The trailer doesn't even show how big that is. So I'm thinking they've pulled so many favors and connections. And then towards the end of the film, tanks. We get tanks. Now, this isn't really a spoiler, guys, but I just have to say this because if you're thinking, should I go and see this film? The last half hour of what you see on a visual level, stuff it, I'm going to say it, it's not a plot spoiler, but you see 2 unbelievable Tyrannosaurus Rexes in a fight with the army with tanks, and they're ripping tanks off, they're ripping guns off, and then you've got helicopters fighting them. There's like 100 like I'm not joking, there's like 100 raptors aimed at the helicopters, machine guns, T-Rexes. It is insane. I'm sitting there watching this like, there is no way they made this for $7 million. Like, I couldn't believe it. And you can see like I'm very passionate about this because I'm so blown away. And I think what Luke is doing, and another positive here, is I think he's really going to help lift the Australian film industry and filmmakers like myself to believe in themselves, to get up, do it, get good people around, but also to the companies out there, the camera companies, the color correction companies, all these companies. If you can get behind filmmakers like Luke and you get behind other filmmakers, it would be incredible, because this Australian film industry is so demented in ways. Like when you look at governing bodies, that they're not funding the right films. I mean, if the guys who made Saw, Lee Winnell and James Wan, if they had waited for the Australian government to get that film made, they'd probably still be sitting waiting to get that film made. They had to go overseas to do it. So what Luke has done is shown that there is talent here, and it should have been either bigger companies or the Australian government got behind to really help this guy make this film. Now, with the negatives, guys, unfortunately, there are a few. Now, I have not read the novel Primitive War. I would love to read it. I haven't read it, so I don't know how close Luke has felt that he needed to write the screenplay based on this novel. But there are aspects in the film that I felt probably came from the novel that should have probably been left out. Now, one of the reasons of how these dinosaurs got here, which I'm not going to mention, it's touched on, but it's not fully explored. And then we have like a Vietnamese villager woman, and she's helping these Russians. And then it's not really explored and explained why she's really helping them, and that doesn't really go anywhere either. Also, for a big fun dino film, unfortunately the way it's been played out, and even through shot blocking and composition and acting performance, everything comes across way too serious. Now, when you got crazy dinos ripping guts out and doing stuff, and then you put in the plot of how they got there, and then you have Ryan Quanten's performance that is so serious, it kind of jars the film, and he plays it way too serious. The film needed more levity. You know, there's like one fart joke in the film that's actually pretty funny, and it's done in conversation.
We put the windows up. First one who smells a fart gets a point.
But it needed more levity. And reviewers, I've already heard reviewers saying, oh, it needed 20 minutes cut out, and they don't say how. Well, I'm going to tell you how. They could have cut 20 minutes out of this film by not trying to show and develop the characters, which is something you wouldn't normally say, so much at the start of the film in one spot. I think the development of that could have been better within the script when we see them in the jungle, when we see them moving, and it could have been done that way, and it would have moved the pace along. And then they're still trying to explain everyone, but for some reason, I still didn't feel connected with these characters because Ryan Quanten's so serious, the others kind of seem serious. Anthony Gruber adds a little bit of levity to the film. I would have liked to have seen his character in the film a bit more, but there's something within the story that doesn't quite work. Also, one of the negatives, now, yes, okay, you can say diversity is great, etc., but when you're using diversity to hire set actors who clearly aren't American and aren't speaking American. I'll give you an example. There's a black actor in the film, and I don't know if he's American. His voice is perfect. He's fantastic. And you think, yeah, he's an black American soldier like was in Vietnam. But there's another black man, and I believe he's probably from Nigeria, and he's speaking literally like he got off a plane from Nigeria. He's trying to add a little bit of an American accent. It doesn't work. And the woman that they use to play the Vietnamese woman, I don't know exactly where she's from, but you hear a bit of an Australian accent in her voice as well. And then you've got these actors playing Russians, and they are the most stereotypical Russian accents you'll ever hear. In fact, even the woman and the men, they all sound like a drunk Dracula on too much vodka, like, I'm going to suck your blood. Like, that is literally how they speak, and it gets a bit off-putting.
It's time to get up.
Now, the female actress who plays the Russian woman, she's actually really good. You can see there's so much intensity there, but there needed to be a little bit of levity with her and Ryan Quanten's character. There needed to be a bit more levity there and a little bit more fun. And the film is 135 minutes, and you do start to feel that. It keeps going and keeps going. And I'm going to be honest, I did look at my watch a few times. I think that needed to be just cut down, just tightened up. Also, there is so much profanity in this film.
You have to use so many cuss words.
Like, the F word is said in here like ums and ahs. There's so much of it, and it does get grating. I understand it's Vietnam era and it's needed, but not to the extent that it is in this film. It's just so full on. Also, with negatives, the blocking, the shot composition. Now look, everything looks fine, but what I think Luke has done here is anytime an actor's speaking, if one character is talking to one character, instead of going out in maybe a wide or shooting with wide angle lenses, which I would have done, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because there's certain things I'm going to do involving wide angle lenses, the aperture of the camera, and ideas I've got for my debut feature film, which I don't want to fully discuss here and give away tricks or what I want to do and how I would shoot in certain things. But I do run this channel from the perspective of not just a film fan, but a filmmaker as well. And I think there's either the aspect ratio with this film is wrong for this subject matter. When you're making such an epic film, I think the aspect ratio here is wrong. I think also the camera work is a little bit A-B, cut from camera A, cut from camera B, assuming he's got two cameras running most of the time here, which I assume he would. But it's like, when this character's talking, we're on him. When this character's, we're talking to him. When these two characters are talking, we'll be on a two-shot, or we'll cut to a reverse angle. And I'm thinking, keep them moving. Use the frame. Keep on a wide angle. You can then have one, like for example, Ryan Quanten's character, he comes up into frame. The frame that was a wide angle is now a close-up because he's in the frame. Then he moves, he looks to, say, his left. We move around. We're now on a side profile shot close-up. He moves away. We're on a medium shot. He moves further away. We're on a wide shot. And you can play with your angles like that. And you can be creative within the frame. And there's not really that here in Luke Sparke's direction. So I think even though, you know, he's got his coverage shots and he's got his close-ups and everything else, and he does film a fair bit of the action and the fight scenes in nice angles, it's still, there's something missing within his shot composition and his direction. And also, like I said before, some of the performances aren't quite there, and I think if he's got a monitor on the side, he should have brought some of these actors over, just showed them a little bit, this is what's going wrong here, have a look at your performance here, we're not getting what we really need here. That's just my input there from a director point of view, because it's come out in the film, and I want to look at the film and be blown away. And so to me, just the shot composition was a little bit off. Now, I'm not blaming the cinematographer, because there's this fallacy that people who have never worked on a film think, oh, the cinematographer chooses all the shot composition and he's in charge of all the blocking. No, he's not. And when you've got a writer-director like Luke, I guarantee you, when Luke's writing this, he's seeing the film in his head and then he directs it, and he goes to his director of photography and he's explaining to him the shot composition, and then he'll sit down with his cinematographer, depending on the budget and all that as well, but he'll sit down with his cinematographer and they'll go through storyboarding. Now, he could just go through with a storyboard artist, but what ends up happening a lot of time is then the cinematographer, the storyboard artist, the director, they'll all get together and they'll plan everything out, and you'll get the cinematographer's input. But overall, a cinematographer is more of a glorified gaffer and a grip, in charge of the lighting, and then in charge of the grip crew on how the cameras are going to be used. Are they going to be handheld? Are they going to be on a gimbal? Are they going to be on a dolly? Is it a locked off shot on stilts, etc.? All that sort of stuff. And obviously about the lighting. But it is the director that's picking those shots and angles. And yes, he will get input from his cinematographer. But a film is a director's medium.
I'm the king of the world!
So a good director will do all that. So to me, it's got to go back on him. And I just found some of the execution, a character will turn around and yet will do a zoom in or a push in on that character. And I could literally tell you, if I had paused the film, I could tell you exactly what the next shot would be. And I don't want that when I see a film. I want to be blown away by blocking, shot composition. And yeah, so that's a little bit of a nitpick. But overall, guys, also one more negative. There seems to be something happening with the distribution. Now, I have researched both companies. Now, Rialto, who are doing the distribution of this film in Australia, and obviously as an upcoming filmmaker myself, I don't want to go and bag distribution companies, but I don't know exactly what's happened. Now, Rialto have got some great films on their books, so like Presence and Together. They've got really good films on their books that they're releasing through into Australia. And then you look at Fathom Entertainment, who are doing the distribution in America. They do faith-based films, like this is obviously not one, and you look at their website and you think this is an incredible group of people and they donate to charities. This seems like just an incredible company with very experienced people, from their CEO who used to work with United Artists. These people obviously know what they're doing, but I don't quite know what's happened with worldwide distribution and especially American distribution. Now, I believe they're pushing this film through AMC cinemas in America, so obviously that's really good. But people are writing in comment section in Mexico and in India, hey, where's this film? Are we getting this film? I just hope that the distribution companies push this film more, and I don't know why Sony or Warner Brothers weren't brought on, or for distribution of this film, because this is a really awesome epic film that audiences need to see. Like, you need to see this in cinema. This is a cinematic film. Even though I'm not happy with aspect ratio and certain things, I still feel this film needs to be seen in cinemas. But there's something gone wrong with the distribution here and the marketing of the film, and I hope that they can adjust a few things and this film can get out there. So guys, that is my deep dive into Luke Sparke's Primitive War, and I hope you guys get out there. Please support this film, and Luke, well done. There is no doubt you're going to inspire so many filmmakers with the effort you're doing. Just remember the thing, blasphemy doesn't need to be in every film in cinemas. Till next time, guys, please like, share, and subscribe, and look deeper into film.
I love you. You're awesome.